Hello there.
Hello?
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast, All of the Movies, where we discuss, well, all of the movies. My name is Emily, co-host here along with Erinn. We have been best friends for over a decade, traveled together, lived together, and have shared the same enthusiasm for all things movies. So we decided to start recording our movie conversations and create a joint YouTube channel, now podcast, to share with all of you guys. Thanks for watching or listening, and let's get into this week's episode. Hello!
We're back
From slightly different locations. Yes. Hi. Hello. How are ya? This is All of the Movies, a podcast where we talk about all of the movies. And this episode...
No way!
This episode is going to be Justice League, the Snyder Cut. You know, DC Comics and our thoughts on it. Last week, we spoke about Wonder Woman 84, the sequel.
Yeah, it's only on HBO Max
doozy.
for a little while longer, I think. They were cutting it off in March.
So if you have HBO Max or a friend, go watch it.
At least one single friend. That's the requirement.
Or a friend who has it. Before we get into it, you can find us on all of your streaming podcast services, Apple, Google, Spotify, Anchor. Also, we do have an Instagram if you'd like to check that out. We are on Twitter, but we don't tweet. So there's that. And on YouTube and our podcast. So if you didn't know, my name's Emily, co-host here with Erinn. And today we are talking about the Snyder Cut of Justice League. I don't know nothing about it. Yeah, I just knew that at first, I will say at first I thought it was the sequel that it was, but no.
To the Justice League. Okay, yeah.
Yes,
okay.
I was so
Wow, you're
out of the loop.
way out
and
the
then,
loop.
And then I'm like, wait a second. Is it just the director's cut of the movie we've already seen? I don't know. I was so out of the loop for it. So if you're like me, that's okay. We're going to discuss. Erinn, on the other hand, has a little bit more information and details. So
Yeah. So anybody who has seen Justice League knows at least the final version of the hot mess that movie was, right? You watched the CGI with Superman and how his face looked really funky for most.
Wasn't that because he had a beard?
Right. And the reason he had a beard was because by the time they got around to, he had another project where he needed a beard, and they had to do all these reshoots because Zack Snyder was no longer involved in the project because of a whole host of things involving, I believe it was his daughter who committed suicide. I'm almost positive that was what. Yeah, he had to step back, and then there was a whole host of like really crazy things that happened.
They just didn't want to postpone.
Well, they had to like stop filming for a really long time, and then he took time off. Obviously because of what happened. Like I said, I might be misremembering things, so don't quote me on that. But I do believe it was his daughter or something happened with him personally, and then there were also some like direction issues between him and the studio where he wanted to take the universe and the cinematics in a certain way, and they didn't want it, and the fans weren't happy about it, and it was just like this whole hodgepodge of issues, business wise and personally on his end. So all of that being said,
according to Screen Rant, it said WB didn't delay Justice League because the executives wanted to keep their bonuses.
I wouldn't put it past them. Wouldn't put it past them. They that's their whole job is to make money. Like that's literally all they care about. So the Snyder Cut, the reason that it's happening, I guess, is basically because the studio was literally cyberbullied into releasing this thing. Hashtag release the Snyder Cut. People haven't stopped talking about it since 2017 was the end of 2017 and beginning of 2018, where Zack Snyder tweeted out something about his cut and his version of the movie, and it trended on Twitter. And then Jason Momoa said something about it, and it's just like it was out, and people went crazy. They were like, we want it now. Justice League was terrible. You ruined the universe. You're doing it on purpose. We hate you. We're telling Dad, like, go get Zack Snyder. And so when HBO Max launched, everyone was like, this is perfect. They don't have to release it in distribution. It'll be cheaper. And it just kind of became, perfect storm or perfect sequence of events and scenario to have this actually happen. Then we got that black and white trailer, which made me really nervous.
Seen any trailer, right?
I've seen the black and white trailer. Yeah, I saw the black and white trailer. Well, that's why I mentioned it in, was it the Wonder Woman episode?
Perhaps.
I think it was where I
haven't seen a trailer.
Okay, so I saw that trailer came out like months ago. I saw that trailer and it made me really nervous because I was like, are they going to release this thing in black and white? Because that's not a good look.
Not a good look.
I would not be a fan of that at all.
It's a film noir version.
But it would be a totally like, I feel like it would be a totally Zack Snyder thing to do to set apart his vision from the theatrical release. Like, I feel like that would be a very just passive aggressive way of saying, this is my cut. Listen, like I feel
do what
not
I
saying
want.
that Zack Snyder is a passive aggressive guy, because he's just going to flat out keep tweeting at Disney, I'm better, or not Disney, at DC, I'm better. Fact check, fake news. So it's not in black and white. That was just because it was the first trailer. But there is a second trailer that dropped a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now. That one I haven't seen.
Okay. So, which is what we're going to watch
react
now.
Yes.
And react to it.
Yeah.
So if you also have not seen this trailer, here you go.
We're going to check it out right now. And here we go.
The bell's been rung. Out in the dark, among the stars, the god is dead.
I had a dream. Almost like a premonition. I think there's an attack coming.
My lord, this world will fall.
I need warriors. I'm building an alliance to defend ourselves.
How do you know your team's strong enough? If you can't bring down the charging bull, then don't wave the red cape at it.
You were sent here for a reason. And even if it takes you the rest of your life, find out what that reason is.
He said the age of heroes would never come again.
It will. It has to. We live in a society where honor is a distant memory.
Oh.
Isn't that right? Batman.
All right, Zack Snyder, I see you.
That's what I'm so looking forward to, is because Jared Leto gets such shit for his Joker in Suicide Squad.
So. He's terrible.
But I think that he might, like, I see potential. I see so much potential, especially in that last
little clip. That's what I'm looking forward to. But the rest of it looks epic.
It's got some potential for sure. I got some goosebumps during it. I like
especially with that like opera music.
The bits with the Flash. I like that. They're bringing in his storyline, Iris West.
Yeah.
She's, if anybody is a fan of the Flash, that's probably who he caught, which is his wife in the comics. That was pretty cool. It looks like we might have gotten a glimpse into the Speed Force, that with the lightning where he's like concentrating and then you see that like ball of lightning, which when he goes into the Speed Force is normally to like reverse or speed up time. So that could be pretty cool, because his movie that's supposed to come out or it got delayed or something, Flashpoint, is basically in the comics. He goes and runs back into time, changes an event, and then runs forward, lives in this alternate reality called Flashpoint, and then realizes that he has to go back and reset the timeline. And then when he comes back, there are little things that are different, and that's a storyline that they did in the TV show.
Oh yeah
on CW, but it's also like a very common storyline in his whole comic timeline.
It's the big one.
Yeah, the Flash is kind of a dope character, so I'm looking forward to seeing them. And I kind of hated on Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller
as the Flash.
As the Flash.
When they cast him, because I just couldn't see it. But in Justice League, he was a shining spot, a bright light in that horrible movie.
A Flash.
He was a flash of he was a flash of genius in that movie. Steppenwolf looks way better in this one than he did in Justice League theatrical. I'm just gonna call him the director's cut and theatrical release. So in the theatrical release, Steppenwolf was very like goofy looking. He didn't look scary. He looked like who's the green like stretchy, Gumbo. Gumbo. That's who he looked like.
He has the horse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gumby. That's who Steppenwolf looked like. And his mouth was the CGI was bad in the theatrical release. So this one looks better. Also, I guess he's not like the big bad because he's got somebody that he is serving in this one.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that little extra. I definitely there's something to be said for this one, I think, just based on the trailer alone. I'm not stoked about the Joker's involvement.
However,
because I can't stand Jared Leto as the Joker, so no one you can't change my mind on that one.
It's fine.
He's just trash. He's just trash. And I like Jared Leto. He's a fantastic actor. He's an amazing artist.
He's a wacky dude.
He's a wacky dude, but
I don't
not
know if
the Joker.
I like him as a dude.
Look at him.
He has his own cult.
Okay. Well,
have you seen that?
No.
That's a whole nother topic.
No. I know nothing about him personally, like his personal who's it's and what's it's.
It's hilarious. After that, anybody who wants to know who hasn't, just Google Jared Leto cult. It's a rabbit hole.
Okay. But yeah, I think he's like I said, he's an amazing actor. I just don't like him as the Joker. Look at all of the Jokers we've had over time. And I'm talking live action and voice actors. Mark Hamill, Heath Ledger, Jack Nicholson, like even the ones in the older Batman movies and TV shows that were like goofy.
I have a bomb.
Right, exactly. Like even those were better. And Jared Leto's Joker was like trying to be all of the Jokers in one, and he just looked like some tatted up loser. Like I just did not get a Joker like feel from him at all. His voice was stupid. His laugh was okay sometimes. It was just bad. Plus Suicide Squad was a bad movie. It just was not good. It was better than Justice League, but it was not good.
Yeah, I have my own opinion of Suicide Squad and
I remember did we watch it together or we watched it was together but not together. We saw it on the same night and I remember you liking it a lot.
Yeah, I did. It's its own entity in my opinion, because when you go to the Suicide Squad comic book, it is so different from the norm of what
Mhm.
you see. And so I didn't have a problem with Jared Leto as that Joker, because in Suicide Squad and that aesthetic, like, to me, he fit. Do I think he fits in, like, if they were to cast him instead of Heath Ledger? Hell no. Like, he doesn't work in those movies, but in Suicide Squad, I think he worked really well. And there's a lot of disservice that was done to him because a lot of his parts were cut.
Yeah, there is that.
So
but I don't know that I could have taken much more of him in that movie.
I think him and that Harley Quinn and that movie aesthetic worked. Do I like him as the Joker? Like, overall? No. No. But as a Suicide Squad Joker, I think he works.
I will give you as that Suicide Squad, that
Yes.
one Suicide Squad movie.
Yes.
He was not terrible. But because the movie was so bad, they really probably could not have done much worse. Maybe if Tom Cruise was the Joker. Actually, Tom Cruise probably would have been a better Joker. And that's saying something. Back to Justice League. So after that trailer, I'm excited about it. I mean, I was excited about it before the trailer too, let's be honest, because DC movies overall have left a less than pleasant taste, I think, in the collective mouths of their fans, especially because most of their fans are just comic book fans. So their fans are Marvel fans, and Marvel just, I mean, they just do better. They just
before
it's so
you even
hard-
got Avengers.
Yeah.
Before you even got an Avengers movie, you had a movie, if not 2 or 3, from the characters.
Mhm.
And this one, like you said, like the second Superman movie was an ensemble movie.
Yep.
Which is weird.
Well, you think about DC movies going back to, I think you'd have to even go back before the Chris Nolan Batman trilogy. What would have been the movie before that? Superman Returns. Did that come out before or during? It might have come out around the same time.
Well, if you're talking
Brandon
just
Routh.
straight up, Roth.
I felt so bad for that movie. They just ruined it. They can't get Superman movies right.
Okay, he looked really good.
He was an amazing Superman. He was a great Clark Kent. I mean,
he looked just like Christopher Reeves.
That movie should have been so much better than it was. And I'm sorry, Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor, or was it Kevin Spacey?
Yes.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey as Lex
Genius.
Luthor was the most brilliant casting since Gene Hackman as Kevin Luthor, or I mean as Lex Luthor. Like, that was brilliant. Way better than Jesse Eisenberg. And he's not even like a terrible Lex Luthor. He's just kind of an annoying Lex Luthor.
I think if Jesse Eisenberg was older, he's just really young.
That's what I mean. They tried to make him this like tech billionaire version of Lex Luthor. You know what I mean? Like to get him to fit in with 2019 or whatever.
Right. I think Jesse is a good Lex Luthor. He's unfortunately 30 years old. Like, like if he was, and maybe that's just my bias of growing up as Gene Hackman being Lex Luthor. I want to see like an older type dude, but I think he plays the maniacal.
He did a really good job with
really well.
Yeah, I think he did a really good job with being just kind of that cunning, maniacal, very kind of just weird. He did that really well. And I think that my issues with him were mostly just the fact that I don't like when they try and do origins of villains like that. Like, if it's a villain that has an origin that makes sense in the comics, then fine. But Lex Luthor is always Lex Luthor. Like, when he shows up in the comics, he's already amassed his billions and is bald and is bad. And that's just like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how it goes.
Did you like Smallville?
Yes. But that's because nobody was who they were yet. Do you know what I mean? Like they try and put, I don't know how to explain it. It just was a really weird disconnect between Superman's already being Superman, but Lex Luthor is just kind of like not really totally
You mean
Lex yet.
how it like was in the movie, how they portrayed
Yeah, they
it
just
at the same time.
Yeah,
and
it
then
was
he
like a weird
turns.
right, because Lex Luthor's like Superman's like it's his guy, it's his Joker, it's his, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
his
Arch
ultimate
nemesis.
yeah, his arch nemesis, exactly. So to have him have this like dual storyline parallel thing, but Superman already be Superman and Lex Luthor not be fully Lex Luthor yet
Okay, I see what you're
was
saying.
just a little weird. And I think that's where most of my issues came from.
Because you saw him with hair.
Honestly, yeah, a little bit. That had something to do with it, because you always know like eventually he's going to be bald, and then that's when it's going to really hit the fan. And
Yeah.
in Batman vs Superman at the end, you see him bald in the prison cell, and you're like, "Oh, let's go." Like now we're ready. You know, it just changes your whole, maybe that's just a little shallow because of me, but that's just, I don't know, that's just how I feel. I think it's
Yeah.
I thought it was just a little weird. But having him voice over this one, because Lex was not in the theatrical release that I can remember.
I don't remember.
So having him, just his voice in this movie is something to watch. I like that.
Right.
Because you know he didn't go anywhere after Batman vs Superman. You know he was still in the universe. He's still lurking in the shadows, as it were.
Right.
And then to have Justice League, which is supposed to be, you know, the direct sequel to Batman vs Superman, not have him involved at all, introduce this new big bad who is, oh, by the way, there are these boxes everywhere that apparently have been involved in everybody's like, oh, Wonder Woman's got one, Aquaman's got one.
Yeah, see that,
like it just was such
that's
a
exactly
weird plot hole. It's so bizarre.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was talking about in comparing how the Marvel movies set up their like ensemble movie, the Avengers. Like,
well, think about the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like from the very beginning, you at least had like a clue.
And you didn't even know.
Yeah, you didn't even know what the heck was like the collector and like what he was collecting and what
the Tesseract this was and this and his staff and all. Like you had no clue what was running the show
until it finally started clicking in. You're like, oh, that's what all of this has been about. That's so cool.
And when Thanos shows up in the end credits, you're like, oh, bro, now. And that's like 6 movies in.
Yeah.
At least.
At least, yeah. The only weird thing about the Marvel movies was Howard the Duck.
Yeah, I never.
What the heck was up with that?
I never got that end credit scene.
Because I honestly, I think that they were going to make a Howard the Duck movie.
Either that, or
but
they
then
just threw that in there.
Yeah, as like a little cameo or whatever.
Maybe we're going this direction. No, we're not.
Honestly, I think they threw it in there to see how people would react to it, and everyone was like, "Screw Howard the Duck," and they were
probably
like, "Never mind,
put that one back on the shelf. We don't want it. Yeah, give that one to DC.
Right?
Sell the rights."
That's what my thought on that was.
Honestly, it's not a bad thought. It's probably very likely that, you know, or you know, a strong possibility that was the case.
Yeah.
That's what end credit scenes are for. They're for testing the waters.
Yeah.
You know, they're for that little teaser because okay, that's not what they're for. They're for that like extra little bit of, you know,
I can't wait
factor. It's the, you know, even if a movie wrapped up in a bow, the end credit scene is like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But then Marvel started doing more than one, and then you start looking at like, what was the one that came out after? Was it one of the Spider-Man movies where Captain America is on the screen in the gym doing the PE class, and that's the whole after credit scene is just the gym teacher on the TV playing the video, and it's Captain America. Just hi kids, I'm Captain America, blah blah blah, physical fitness, blah blah blah, and then that was it, and everybody was like,
What the heck?
What? So there are those after credit scenes, and I feel like that's what Howard the Duck was.
Oh, okay.
But
interesting.
It's also very possible that they were just like, let's just give them a little something and just see how people react. Let's just
it's duck season,
happens, right? Let's see if they like it. And when people didn't, they were like, noted. We're just gonna move right along. And Thanos, we're ready for you now.
Is not the duck you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. But DC just doesn't. They just don't logistically, as of yet anyway, have not been able to pull their universe. And I'm not even talking about this recent timeline. I'm not even talking about the Man of Steel, universe.
Because even like the Batman back in like what, the 90s, they had a different Batman actor each movie, pretty much.
Yeah, that was when they were like, we're just gonna be James Bond.
Yeah, exactly. Just
they were just popping them out.
James Bond
had
one movie each.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they truly were. They were like, nobody cares. They just want a Batman movie.
Yeah.
And you know what? At that time, they were probably right. People did just want Batman movies. And they were super entertaining.
Super bad.
Yeah, they were. I mean, they were terrible. They were all campy, but movies then were not, like, especially comic book movies.
Well, especially like Batman and Superman. Up until then, they had all been campy.
Yeah, Superman because like campy. It's just a campy superhero. Like and then that's the way Superman's supposed to be a little bit.
I will never forget the first Batman movie I ever saw. I think it was with Adam West. He has the bomb and he's running around the dock and he's about to throw the bomb, but then there's like a cat with kittens that just gave birth. And so he runs over here and there's like an old lady crossing the street. And so he runs over here and and it's like an actual like bomb.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. And I love those. They have their place. But when you think about what DC is trying to do with this universe, and you can tell that they're trying to do it because they've made it known that they're trying to have this overall cinematic universe where all their because that's
which they should.
Were. Everybody had their own comic, but they had the crossovers, and that was what made it exciting and what got people to buy those, the comics. And Marvel kind of changed the game when it came to a cinematic universe because they planned it out to within an inch of their lives and they executed it practically flawlessly. Yeah, they had some misses, but they knew what they wanted to accomplish. Come on, you can't tell me that they didn't have some movies that didn't like completely rock your socks.
The only one that I can think of that really I don't care to ever watch again is maybe like Iron Man 3.
Hey guys, thanks again for joining Emily and me for this episode of All of the Movies. We're both so excited to bring you in on our discussion of the things that we love about film. So make sure to subscribe to the channel on YouTube or wherever you stream your podcasts. We'll be at it again next week with some more amazing content, so don't forget to enable notifications so that you never miss a new upload. Of course, connect with us on Instagram at All of the Movies and on Twitter at All of the Movies 1. We'll catch you next time, but for now, that's a wrap.